So thank you both very much for joining us here. So we have Vessantara and Vidyamala, who are part of the Meditation Kula of the Sikkha Project. And the others of the Kula are Dhammarati and Vajrashura, Tejananda, and Jnanavacha. Yeah, I haven't left anyone out there, have I? So it's a relatively new Kula. It's been going along in the background for a while, but we wanted to just say a bit about who we are and how we function, just to introduce ourselves a bit to you. So I wonder, Vessantara, we'll start with you. Would you like to sort of share a bit about, well, what sort of excites you about the Meditation Kula and being part of it? What excites you about that?
Well, I think one of the things that's exciting me at the moment is the way in which we're exploring with people the new initiatives that come into Triratna and meditation teaching. I've watched over the years, sometimes people getting very enthused with some new approach and bringing it in, but without really integrating it very fully into the overall approach that we have in Triratna with teaching. And it's been frustrating for everyone. It's been frustrating for those people who are excited and enthused with what they've found. They start sharing it, and then they meet, inevitably, people who don't know about it, can't see how it fits in with our approach. And you can then end up with good ideas taking a long time to be evaluated and discussed. And it's never really kind of gone very well, I don't think. So I feel that one of the functions of this Kula is that we've got a group of very experienced people, a lot of really good meditation experience, a lot of good meditation teaching experience, and we're offering people the opportunity where they've got something that they think is really helpful, that they've discovered or they've come upon, to come into dialogue with us in a very friendly, easy way, and to explore what's really beneficial and also how it does fit in with our approach. And out of that, I think that we can get the best of both new ideas that are helpful and bringing those through into Triratna, and also where there are complications and difficulties, okay, we pick those up really early, in a way that's very helpful and we can explore and discuss. So I feel that can be a really good function of the Kula.
Thank you, thank you. And how about you, Vijayamala? What excites you about the Kula?
I think I'd describe it as the spirit of the Kula really excites me. And what I mean by that is the attitude, very much following on from what Vessantara said, this attitude of really helpful dialogue and sort of open-mindedness, open-heartedness, and this very, very interesting, don't know how to describe it, but obviously Triratna does need to have sort of edges for it to maintain a sense of identity and a sense of wholeness and a sense of coherence. And yet we don't want that to be really sort of rigid. So how do we maintain a sense of our own tradition, so it doesn't just sort of dissipate into nothingness, but how do we do that in a way that's dynamic and alive and creative and gets into dialogue with new initiatives in a helpful way? And I enjoy the meetings very much, just having this kind of creative conversation with this group of people feels like a great privilege, and I learn a lot. But yeah, it's the attitude that excites me, the attitude of openness and yet also clarity. Yeah, openness and yet clarity.
Thank you. Thank you both very much. So one of the things that we have done, actually, we did last year, was we offered a meditation mentors retreat, didn't we? And we're going to be offering one again this year. probably mostly online actually this year. Well, definitely online. I think it's in April, isn't it, for 6 days. You can find out more about that on the Adhisthana website. But Vessantara, would you like to just say a little bit about what the theme of the retreat is this year?
Yes, we're going to pick up on a talk and a paper, well, not a paper actually, it was an article, let's call it that, by Subhuti, which he wrote way back in 2003, which is a bit of a Triratna tale. I don't think it's really been picked up very fully until recently by Jnanavacha and Maitreya Bantu. And it was called The Three Myths of the Spiritual Life. And myths often these days means things that aren't true, but here it's more approaches, deep approaches to Dharma life. And he talks about development and surrender and discovery. And I'm really excited by it because I think that it provides ways of looking at our own Dharma practice, ways of teaching and approaching teaching, ways of understanding how the people that we teach approach working with their own minds and understanding their emotions. And also how at different phases of your Dharma life, one approach or another may come to the fore. So I see it as a very rich and inclusive method of looking at things. And I think it's going to be very helpful for what I hope will be a really big group online of meditation teachers. And yeah, we can really put those ideas and those understandings out to Triratna centers around the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And Vijayamala, last year you were quite instrumental in sort of guiding us as to how to interact with each other in groups and how to sort of mentor in very subtle ways, I think. Would you like to just say a little bit more about that, because we're going to continue that approach, aren't we, on the coming retreat?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we ran the first one of these retreats last December at Adhisthana, and in a way it was a pilot, and generally the feedback was very good, and those of us on the team felt it was effective and successful. And what we did is in the mornings we'd have input on the theme. Last year it was the system of practice, and next year it's going to be the three myths. And then in the afternoons we met in smaller groups and had the opportunity to lead meditation and then to get feedback from our peers. So it's kind of very good peer learning, very safe, very kind, very clear. Because I think for many people, we lack confidence as meditation teachers. That seems to be one of the things that many of us could do with some support around. So to have a really fantastic environment created with skillful holding of that space, we get the chance to lead, get feedback, learn, encourage one another. That was very successful. So we're going to do that again. And I know that we can do that on Zoom. I've done that on Zoom with other groups. So I don't see any problem with that. And the fact that it's going to be on Zoom means that we're going to be able to provide the opportunity for people from more and more countries, which is going to be great. Obviously, last time people had to come to Adhisthana, whereas I don't quite know how we'll work it with the time zones. But when we come to plan the retreat, I hope that we can be creative around that so people in other time zones can also participate. And it's building a community of experienced and confident meditation teachers around the world. For Triratna, that's the goal, that's the aim. And I think we can be confident that this retreat will help facilitate that.